Buckle up, Buttercup. Live from Gloucester, Massachusetts. Podcasting around the world. You're listening to the GloucesterCast podcast, a production of Joey Shimataro and Good Morning Gloucester Media. Kick back, relax, and enjoy the show with your host, Joey Shimataro, and his crew of merry castaways. No piping plovers will be intentionally harmed in the production of this podcast.
Good morning, everybody.
Just doing a little side work here.
Yeah, we're in the bowels.
We've never been more ready.
We're in the bowels. I got a little runny nose thing going on here. Good morning, Gloucester. It is GloucesterCast 739, according to Pat's perfectly curated notes right here that Chris Legakopoulos printed out for us. We have Nicole Schaff with us.
Morning.
Nicole,
I got here so early.
Nicole,
We were commenting on
we had a
that.
couple of nicknames for you as you strolled in casually at 8:59.
If we had done this at my house, I would have been the first one there.
I selfishly wanted to have it here, though.
Right.
So, I mean.
So I was the last one here.
So we're doing it in the. Listen.
Are you going to get us all sick?
No,
Right?
it's just
Yeah.
it's a weird thing.
You got to know.
It's a weird thing.
Oh, so yeah, I got tissue. Oh, okay. This is very.
It's going to be great. It's going to be a great week.
Great podcast. Great podcast.
Chris, you want to stop at CBS or should I?
Here we got a chat overlay on. Quite a week for Nicole. All kinds of happenings in her life.
Oh, Nicole.
Oh, Nicole.
It's like it's always something.
It is always something.
It really is.
Yeah. Any other single parents want to chime in on how they survived 2 teenage kids and 2 jobs and whatnot? I don't know.
I mean,
It's
the
all good.
single parent thing
It's all good.
takes it to a next level. I think part of it though is just having teenage kids,
Yeah.
right? Like there's
All by
always
itself,
some,
right.
there's always some chaos going on.
And I will, and we'll give this like a minute. You still have tissue right here, but it was like a minute and a half. But like literally everywhere, like we just had the bluefin. Like I'm super blessed that like everywhere I go, people will be like, oh, I saw Thatcher and he gave me a big hug. And oh, I talked to Finn. What a great kid. Like I know I have great kids. Like a regular row at the row line, they walk in and say hi. And I know I have great kids. So they're not like, but man, it's like something every day. That's it. That's all I'll say. It's just,
Well,
it's
you
a
know,
lot.
the thing with the cell phone too.
And then
We're
that
gonna-
was my dad.
We're
That
gonna
was
get
my
into
dad,
that.
yeah,
That's
so-
like bananas.
So sometimes
Predatory.
It's a lot. Yeah, I know.
If you had to pick one of the boys to like sell in Thailand, which one would
Yeah.
you sell?
It changes kind of week to week.
Okay.
Yeah. But I will say like unbelievably hard workers. Like I don't know a lot of, definitely not 15-year-olds, but certainly not because Finn's 15, Thatcher's 17, but they kill themselves working too. You know what I mean? Like Finn was out and this was for fun, but like literally out 2 nights in a row off, in the middle of the ocean fishing, went from one boat to the next, then had to be back at work at 6 o'clock in the morning. He works 12, 13-hour days when he works, so does Thatcher. So anyway.
They are always
I know.
working. I will say that. It
Yeah.
seems like when we're hanging out doing stuff, you never have to leave because, oh, my kids need a ride to their friends or my kids are doing something. They're always working,
Yeah.
which is great.
Yeah.
I mean,
They seem to be working, doing things they like to do. Too.
Well, that's super important. So, though, when they do work, it's 2 or 3 trips a day. Like they're on Thatcher in particular because he's old enough. Finn is younger, so they have to be really careful with when he's allowed to work. Which is great. But
Would you like
Right.
to scone?
I know they look delicious. I'm gonna have one later.
Joey
I
made
was
scones.
up
You
all
up
night
all night?
long making scones. Actually, I did not make
Available exclusively at 44 Main Street.
There'll be a sale when they get a little bit hard and crusty. They'll be half off.
No, I have to give credit where credit is due. My mother dropped these off. Pat
Oh, Pat made
Nice.
them.
Well, I'm definitely having one.
Oh.
Pat made the scones.
So so what we were speaking of is this week at my house was tattoo, which the tattoo happened first, and I was expressing my dissatisfaction at how large it was.
2 tattoo,
Um,
too.
I was hoping you wouldn't go there. Anyway, but the great thing is that when you choose to name your son Thatcher, like he's on the water all the time. He chose to get the coordinates of Thatcher's Island, which if you're gonna get a tattoo, I feel like is not a bad one to get. So I don't think he'll regret it. And it's the coordinates and it's super cute.
Only it was the coordinates for the dry salvages.
Yeah, it was a little bit off.
So he's changed his name to dry salvages.
It's the Londoner. So no, I did Google
the spindle?
it. It's the spindle, yeah. So I Googled it and I think it's really, I think it's hard, right? It's not like it's a big island.
I think I've seen the tattoos, and I actually thought they were great. I don't think they're anything he'll ever regret. I think, and nothing to worry about there on the tattoo.
Yeah. And then, so I was.
Well, you're a big tattoo guy. You're covered with tattoos.
I got my first tattoo when I was 49.
Really?
Yeah. I have one tattoo.
Is that scream midlife crisis?
Of course it does. Of
Darn.
course it does.
Darn.
I had always wanted a tattoo, and I just wanted to. I could never think of something that I was like, yeah, you know what? I know I'll never regret that. And so by the time I was about 48, I thought of something, and it took me like a year to get the appointment. Oh,
wow.
Yeah.
Why? Because it's a super special.
It's a guy. Yeah, it's a guy in Boston. It's a good studio.
Wow.
Yeah.
Next to where he gets his haircut.
So you didn't get Hep C from your tattoos? Then?
No, I
You
did
didn't go
not.
to the guy.
Well, actually, I don't know. Maybe I did.
Chris Lagakanopoulos, fresh from his, we can't talk about, well, we don't know because he hasn't shared anything with us about the results of your filming of your reality series, The Block.
No, we
The
can't.
Blocks or The Block?
The Blocks. So it's The Blocks is a TV show, reality show, business focused reality show. I kind of compare it to like a cross between like The Apprentice and like Shark Tank.
Okay.
So there's challenges involved every day. There's sort of a lesson, sort of like a 1 week MBA in entrepreneurship, let's call it, where every day you go through a lesson and then there's an assignment. The assignments are always, you have 15 minutes to put together a 3-minute pitch, and then you pitch judges, you go through a whole series of things. And then at the end of the night, you all meet in this big auditorium, and it's recorded in front of the green screen, and they announce the top 9 of the day.
Out of 100, right?
Out of 100.
Wow.
So it's 5 days of that. And they'll announce the top 9, and they bring you into this green room, and then they'll say, okay, you come out now, and you go up center stage. There's cameras everywhere, green screen, and then the front row are the 10 judges, and then the rest of the companies are in the audience. And they say, okay, we have 4 questions for you, and you have 60 seconds to answer each question. It'll just be related to a business topic, whether it's building your sales funnel or getting funding or whatever it may be, that you just have to be prepared to speak to, give good answers. And then they choose the top 3 each night. It's really cool.
So do the people that don't make it through, are they just like, poof, see you later, have a nice day, have a nice life? Or do they stick around?
Yeah, they stick around. Everybody makes it through, but I mean, unless you make it into the finals 1, 2, 3 nights, like up on stage, you won't be featured most likely as prominently on the show. But I will say, after the first day, I completely forgot that it was a reality show. I forgot that there were cameras, because it's probably the most intense, physically, emotionally, intellectually, and just exhausting. Like by that last day, I said to a couple of people, like, and I was probably only 5% serious. I'm like, I might just skip this last day and sit out at the pool. Like, I wasn't sure I could take anymore. It was like, wow. I was up every morning at 6:30 in the morning, studying, taking notes, start the day. You go until about 9 or 10 o'clock at night. And then at 11 o'clock at night, they would send out the slides for the next day's lesson. Oh. So I might go down to the pool bar and have a drink. And by 11:30, 12 o'clock, I was back in my room studying, taking notes for another hour. So it was just a constant cycle of sort of learning and applying knowledge. And
after 3 days, you're probably like, yeah, if you're hitting it, you're doing, you're like, okay, I can do this. And then like the fatigue probably starts setting in. You're like, oh my fucking word, right?
Yeah. I mean, I can't remember the last time I was as tired as I was when I got home. I mean, but I will say it was probably the coolest, most rewarding thing I've ever done. I met so many amazing entrepreneurs, like people with there's just so many smart people and so many good ideas out there. And full credit to the show and Beta Blocks. Beta Blocks is a sort of like entrepreneur incubator. You can go to betablocks.com and they have all these lessons that you can buy online. And I'll tell you, I think they're really worth it. And it was just they did a great job. Last point on it, they did a great job casting the companies, because while it was a competition, nobody was cutthroat. Like when somebody might make it up on stage one night, like everybody was elated. Like nobody, it was hugs and high fives, and the judges were amazing. The whole experience was incredible.
So the most important, the most interesting thing to me was going to be, like, did they cast different people based on personalities, or was it purely based on the merit of their ideas?
I think it was a combination, probably a combination. You know, there were some people there that were way more outgoing, a little bit more theatrical in their approach to speaking and presenting. Some were a little more subdued. Yeah, I guess there probably was an element to that.
Because it is a show.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's a show.
And it was like, the other thing that was really, really cool about it is the amount of diversity that was there. You know, all races, religions, LGBTQ, like everybody was covered in the group of entrepreneurs. And sometimes you do things like that if you're working for a company, and certain groups of people end up hanging out together. This was just such a homogenous group of different nationalities, races, you know, sexual orientations. And there were no lines. There weren't like cliques of these types of people. It was just so homogenous. Everybody loved each other. It was kind, and it was awesome. So I'll leave it at that. It will air, I think, most likely early 2025. So
there you go.
We got a little bit of time.
You just gotta keep pumping it. I'll tell you what, I'm looking forward to watching it. Maybe we can have some watch parties. Anybody has it?
At Harbor 9.
Well, I didn't say that.
I did.
You didn't
I'm
come.
excited.
You didn't come.
I know. It was Jamie's birthday. I was hanging out with Jamie, and then I had to go home. And it's a good thing, because then we had car accidents. So good thing.
Was that
home
that
and
night?
Yeah.
Thursday night I went up to Harbor 9 for the $5 burger. I can't get enough of it. But anyway, before we go any further, we do have podcast prizes today. A couple donated, so we'll do these as a pair, right?
Yeah.
These are from One Ocean One Love Shop, Jamie Matheson, Chris's betrothed, and they are the elite koozies that she makes. They're not. They're. Do you call these koozies?
Yeah, they're koozies.
They're kind of made for pint glasses.
Pint glasses, yep.
And all the professionals, all the Rumline professionals, who you know who you are. Probably a lot of them are watching right now. They carry these around, and they are elite. They're great.
They're quite easy. There's no instructions needed. You just put your cup right in it.
Yeah.
It's
You
easy.
could have gone on blocks with this and made a bazillion dollars. Is
Like
that?
Here you go.
right? So this is neoprene.
Yeah, they're neoprene. Yep.
They're awesome.
And then we have some
I actually don't have
shirts. Kate donated these. Right here it says, I can't read it.
Sweet Home
Punta Cana.
Sweet
Cana.
Home Punta Cana. I mean, everybody's.
Instead of Sweet Home
This is
Alabama, it's Sweet Home Punta
And this
Cana.
is I believe this is a Bella and Canvas T-shirt, which they make really, as Chris knows, they make really super soft, comfy T-shirts. And this one is
The artist formerly known as Mom.
the artist formerly known as Mom. This is in Chris Lagakanopoulos' size black T-shirt V-neck.
So I wear a women's small.
There you go.
So Nicole, you don't have one of these?
I don't.
Oh,
Jamie.
we're gonna have to make that.
Yeah.
Jamie.
I do have.
For shame.
I do have the best hat though ever, but I had it on the car. I took it off because I got it dirty.
We're gonna have to. We know somebody. We'll talk to somebody about getting you one.
I love the colors too. They're awesome.
Yeah.
I fill these often though. I don't have my own, but I
Oh, yeah.
I am. And the thing about these is that you have to you can't really see the glass when
Oh,
we will
yeah.
keep the sleeve on the drink.
You don't know
So
if they
you
need a
gotta be
refill.
really careful about counting your pour because you
Yeah.
can't see what's in there.
So all three of us and my wife and the Mathesons and the Ameros and some other folks had quite the adventure yesterday. That was spectacular. Pat, want to run the clip?
That was great.
Oh my god,
That was amazing.
Sorry, that was the wrong
I didn't
one.
even have time to finish a sip of coffee.
I'm sorry. That actually, Nicole, that one's yours. Here,
Wait, what?
here we go.
This is insane. Like, who needs to sit at the beach when there's this?
They don't know what they're missing out on. She got the one jumping right out of the water.
I saw one like from the corner of my eye. This is insane.
Okay, right in front of us. Oh my god! Oh my god! Okay, oh my god!
Oh my god.
Hey, buddy! Holy shit, man, right in front of us. Oh! Holy shit!
I don't like being this close to a whale. No, I want to go home.
Oh!
Oh,
Oh, there you go. Yeah, that was just absolutely 2 weeks in a row now. We've had these encounters, and they're like in our backyard. You know?
so that the beginning of that was dolphins,
Yep.
but there were because you were just filming near your boat, but there were like hundreds, right? Of
There were
giant pod of
hundreds.
dolphins.
There was like hundreds, if not thousands. They were everywhere, like as far as you could see in every direction, and they were playing with the boat. You know, they kind of like. I find this. My buddy down in Florida says like if you go at a certain pitch, they like the certain pitch of the engine. You know, and they like hone in on you, and they
They
kind
like to
of go
play
with
with.
you. They like to play in the wake and stuff.
Yeah, Kate had texted us. We went out. Nicole, Jamie, and I went out with the dogs, and Kate had texted about the dolphins, but we just weren't sure we could get there in time. But we went out yesterday past the breakwater, you know, headed north to the like west of or east of Thatcher's, and like basically as soon as we got past the breakwater, we saw a mola, then we saw a tuna, probably a 4-5 foot tuna. I say it's length because I can never judge size, the weight. 4 or 5 foot tuna jump out of the water. Then we saw a couple of sharks, and then we connected with you and we saw a whale. So it was it was a spectacular sea life day yesterday.
Yeah, I was thinking while you said the whales were awesome too. But it's funny because we were out there at one point. I knew that Kate and Joey had been texting you guys, but it's so funny. It's Cape Ann is you know, I kind of feel for people who don't have the opportunity to get off of land and on the water because, like, I mean, since I was, you know, before high school, I've been on the water. You know, I worked for the Whale Watcher. We had boats, you know, growing up a little bit and whatever. But so we were out there, and as if you were like walking downtown Gloucester, like near 44 Main, we're on the boat, and then Chris goes, "Oh, is that Joey and Kate?" You know, and you're up alongside of us, and then later on, like, you know, last week it was, oh, there's Tobin, like. It happens on the water just like it happens on Main Street.
No,
like,
we were like at that point we were probably 2 miles out, 3 miles out.
Yeah.
And we're just putting along like, oh, is that Caitlin and Joey over there?
It's just so funny.
What are
how
the
you
chances?
Right? Yeah, middle of the ocean, kind of.
So for me, like I really only got my first boat like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Kate and I got our first boat, and so I'm like not like this totally seasoned boat guy. Like people think I am.
Great. Shocking, Chris, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, people kind of. I mean, I've been on the waterfront. I know all the characters on the waterfront. I know like who the whatever. But the fact of the matter is, like, boating in Gloucester opens up. And if there's ways to participate in boating if you don't own a boat, like between the whale watch boats, the schooners, schooner sails, the international dories, you join that for like $75 or $100 a year. The rowing program at Maritime Gloucester. There's ways to get on the water. There's a ton of ways to get on the water, and it doesn't necessarily have to cost you what it costs us to boat.
You can go out on Lynn and Phil's boat.
That's right.
That's another way.
Yeah, Lynn and Phil's boat, the
water taxi.
Water taxi.
Oh, I was like, wait, what? Yeah.
$3 Budweisers.
I pitched that all the time when we talked about our favorite things, at the boat port.
Yeah.
A couple weeks ago, I talked about that just to try to get back to like the, what to do with a family kind of level. But absolutely, like I think that we talked about how pretty like Cape Ann is. But even at Harbor Light years ago, we actually visited you. We started really pumping the marine science and the maritime history. And there's so many ways to take advantage of that. And for sure, one of them is being on the water, seeing the unbelievable like marine life that surrounds us.
Yeah, but and then on top of it, the marine life and all that. But like once you start boating and stuff, and you get together with other boaters and stuff, it's like a whole different. It's a club.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're in that club. Like, you know what I mean? You see people, they're out on the water, like connect with them, and like you just have something in common, and it's just Gloucester already. That, like, if you took that away, Gloucester's already like here, and then you put the boating and the beach part of it, it's just like no place you'd rather be,
Yeah, and I feel like no one's like, except for things that like happen under the Cut Bridge and whatnot, or mechanical issues. There's never a bad day on the water, right?
Oh,
Unless
God.
it's like something debilitating that actually happens, knock on wood, to your boat. There's never a bad day on the water. So it's, you take that and then it's all like happy people, good vibes, not to get all corny, but like there's nothing better. If it's a beautiful flat day on the water, sunny, the backside of the beach or whatever, like everyone's happy. And how do you not
someone
appreciate
gave
that?
the thumbs up just then.
I think it just saw my
Is
thumb.
that us?
Yeah, see.
Oh yeah, look at that, big. I wonder if the viewers can the viewers see the thumbs when we do
I
this.
think maybe they can.
That's interesting. That's a feature. Oh my goodness. Anyway,
Darn chipmunk. Don't get in my engine.
oh fuck, dude, those fucking chipmunks. Look, he's eating something. He thinks it's one of the wires in my truck.
Right?
Oh no, so this is what I was gonna say. So a couple of people mentioned. Has anyone not seen the viral clip of the huge whale that breached on top of the boat and sent the people on the boat flying and the boat capsizing?
Yeah.
Has anyone not seen
I
it?
saw it.
I saw it.
I saw it like
400
times.
times.
500 times. So when we were out there yesterday and that whale came up, who took the picture? Was it you?
I did. Yeah, no photo credit. Just I was not tagged.
Was it you?
I took it. I sent
You
it to
were
you.
fucking tagged.
No, I know.
What?
I wasn't. Did you say I wasn't? Anyway, no one at home needs to care about this. But yeah, I sent you the picture. I thought we were laughing. We were waiting for that. No offense.
So the other thing I need to know was why were you making fun of me, Jamie making fun of me saying humpback, some kind of
Great white whale.
great white whale.
because you
Because that's we're not making fun of you. We're repeating your own words to you.
you didn't understand the difference between an orca whale and a white shark. Do you remember doing roll the footage?
Yes, no,
Roll the
no,
footage for
1000%. I still
podcast
don't.
number, whatever it was.
I still
He
don't.
was saying that a
I
white shark
still
was the same
don't.
as an orca
I still
whale.
don't. So Kate texted me something a little while ago, asking me to mention something, but I wanted to give her time to send images to Pat. So I'm sure she's sent the images by now. Kate has 2 buyers for homes up to $2.5 million and a brand new commercial space build. I think the commercial space build is in Beverly. If I'm not, she can correct me if I'm wrong. But she probably sent. Yep, there you go. She sent the images there. So that I think is the commercial space build in Beverly. I don't have a lot more information about it, but she's got some serious buyers. So if you have a home, a really nice home, probably I'm thinking if it's $2.5 million, it's going to be kind of ocean views. I don't know. What was that?
Kate's yelling at us from upstairs.
Kate? I don't know what she said.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, so, oh, yeah, there you go. Kate's yelling at us from upstairs.
Got breaking news.
Yeah.
That was big news.
Big news. Okay, so now we're going to get to, we're going to start talking about a little bit about, oh, by the way, Maisie and Mobley, unbelievable.
Nailed it.
Unbelievable the way they're adapting to the boats.
Yeah. I mean, day one.
Hazel and Mako. Hazel,
Maisley,
Mako.
and Mobley.
There you go.
That's that dress challenge again on the internet. Joey hears one thing, the world hears another. They are both
Hazel and
dogs.
Mobley.
for
They're both
sure,
dogs.
Yeah.
Dude, they were running around the docks yesterday.
Oh yeah, they love it. They
Love it.
They've gotten used to it so quickly. They love being on the boat. You know, it's like when we're really running, the vibrations, I think, and the sound, it kind of puts them to sleep the second you slow down. They're wrestling with each other up on the bow and just having a good time. So we're lucky that
One was trying to impregnate the other one the other day, which
Yeah.
is kind of weird.
yeah.
That's a little bit weird, but
Yeah,
that happens. Hazel in particular on the Zodiac will actually because Chris is running the boat and Jamie has an awesome new GoPro and I'm the guest on the boat, so I try to at least earn my keep by not leaving the swim ladder down and by making sure the dogs don't drown. So Hazel will get up on the tubes, the Zodiac.
Oh, yeah,
I'm like, shit, trying to look.
Now,
at them.
if Maisie fell in the water, would it be a problem?
No, she can swim. I mean, we keep a life jacket on her too.
All right.
So
So
she
perfect. So she'd be buoyant for the sharks to see her from underneath.
Right. Yeah.
Come up.
Yeah.
The bow.
Yeah.
She'd be like she'd be like not even an
and
appetizer.
she would be like she'd be like
She
a
gets-
tater tot.
Yeah. She would be a tater tot. That's a perfect analogy. Exactly. So there's that. Fishtails Pub, Vinny Orlando's place, got their license.
Oh,
and,
Thank God. I was
yeah.
wondering what was going on
Yeah,
there.
just in time for summer to end.
It's not even August yet.
Hey,
Shut
Thank you
up.
to the
Reach out to Vinny to start planning your Christmas parties
Right.
today.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving meals.
Get that going for you. And I saw, initially when I talked to him a couple months ago, he said, we're not going to try to be Tono, we're not going to try to be Franklin or Oak to Amber. We're going to have pub food. I looked at kind of the menu, and it looked like it was. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be pub food. I think it looked like it was more of an elevated food. So, Vinny usually watches. We'll see if he chimes in here. Vinny, can you speak to that? Are you going to have pub food, or is this going to be? It's not like fancy food in the pictures. So, in any way, Vinny is an operator. I'm sure it's going to be fantastic, and the bar up there is great.
I've seen some of their social posts like over the last month. They've posted photos of some food they're working on. It looks great.
Yeah, food looks
It
great.
really looks good.
Yeah, but I'm hoping that he sticks with the pub theme, because like we have Stones, kind of small, whatever, and we have the sports bar now at Harbor 9, but like a downtown pub. Well, Minglewood's kind of. Would you call Minglewood a pub? What would you call Minglewood? A restaurant? Kind of an eclectic. Minglewood is like overarching. Like it's a little of everything, right?
Minglewood to me is like what's interesting about Minglewood is like when you go to like some of these bars and sports bars like in Florida, like they're bigger, they're like wide open, like it's Minglewood has a unique feel to me. Definitely not quite a pub, but obviously it's a restaurant, but I don't know what you'd call it.
Yeah.
And when I think of
Hybrid.
pub, I think of like small, cozy, little crowded pubby, like the
Yeah.
Rum Line I consider a pub, obviously. Stones I consider a pub. Other places. But they do have, because of their size and diversity inside the restaurant, from the sushi menu to like elevated meals, they also have great pub food at Minglewood because they have such a big menu.
Yeah. So when we were talking, I was talking to Eric Lorden about him closing down, having to make the decision, being basically forced to make the decision to close passports. We were trying to come up with who was the longest standing restaurants in Gloucester, besides him. And there was a couple that I omitted. First of all, the Rum Line, which I I don't consider it really a restaurant, even though they do serve food. But it is.
Yeah.
Ultimately, they have a full menu and they serve food.
Yeah, it depends on who you are. Like I go back to like Fiesta over the years, like depending on your ages and like what you appreciate the most about Fiesta. Well, I think the rum line, you know, I've been going there since I was 21. And you know, different levels, and like if you're there for the live music and beers late at night, it's a very much a pub, it's a bar. But we have a big group of people who come in and eat faithfully a couple times a week and sit at the table side to, you know, to watch the early music, and they're eating. They're there for a meal.
There you go.
Yeah.
So we had so initially I could only on the spot I could only come up with like 2 or 3, but some notable omissions. We omitted the rum line. We omitted George's, and here's one that one person came up with that I totally forgot about: Maria's Pizza. That's been around for a long time. So so I think Passports was like closer to like 4th or 5th longest tenured.
How long was Passports there?
29 years.
29.
29 years, which is amazing to me. Yeah. And by the way, what we didn't, which Eric and I spoke about before we taped that podcast, was that he is all you need to do is mail in your gift certificates to the Passports address, and he's going to refund the money for if you had outstanding.
Not a lot of restaurants would do that. You got to give extra props to Eric for doing that. And it's the right thing to do, but it doesn't mean most places would do it.
Yeah, there was like a guy like actually I wrote it in the post, but he clearly didn't click on it to read that Eric was refunding the money for those things. He wrote this nasty thing on Facebook, like, oh, another restaurant screwing, you know, their patrons by not honoring gift cards, and like he was honoring it.
But also in the way that this, you know, happened, it was not certainly in Eric's grand plan. So you would think people would have a little bit more like understanding. It's not just like, oh, we sold a bunch of gift cards. You know what? We don't really feel like doing this. We don't want to work this hard anymore. We're out of here. And all of you are screwed with your gift cards in hand. Like this happened because of the construction, right? Like,
yep.
I mean, it was something that was kind of unforeseeable. So.
Pam Parsons says Gloucester House. Was that on the list?
Yeah. Gloucester House is the oldest.
It's the oldest.
And when that was the first one that came to my mind.
The funny thing is, like, I think because I'm sort of stuck in time, you know, I've lived up here for about 25 years. I mean, the Franklin's got to be coming up on 24 years now. 23 years, 2001 maybe, 2001. Like, it's and I think
still feels new.
Yeah, it still feels new to me. Like I love, it just still feels new to me.
I gotta get there. You know, something we all gotta go there for a drink. I you know, Maria's such a nice person. Mm-hmm. Staff is always super pleasant. The food's always great there. I just don't think to go there for some reason.
Well, there's so many places.
There's a couple places that I never get to that I know are great. Yeah. I'm gonna name them right now. Places that I know are great, but I just for some reason or other don't get to is the Franklin, 525, and Lobsland. And people love all 3 of those places.
Yeah, Yella, I've only been to twice, and I loved it both times.
Yella's
and
great.
I never. There's so many great places.
McCarthy goes there often.
He does.
I go to Lobsterland probably more than any other restaurant because I try to go a couple times a week at least for lunch. I go there more for lunch than dinner. Their dinner is awesome as well, but I just think of it more at lunchtime. But
you know what I would love, if anybody at home has hours available, I would love like one of the like online a timeline that shows like restaurants starting and then, you know, closing and then the new restaurants starting. Like I go back to like when people say what's your favorite pizza, I'm stuck back like years ago. I used to love La Lanterna on Main Street.
Oh wow, yeah.
It was my favorite pizza ever, and they were really short lived. And Cafe Beaujolais down at Union Hill, like was forever my favorite breakfast, and then they closed, and then the Cafe Beaujolais opened up in its place. Like with some of like those places that were really just kind of blips on the radar, and some were super long standing. Like I went with my grandparents to Union Hill forever before they finally closed. But I would love to see like this, you know.
La Lanterna had that sandwich, the prosciutto with the mozzarella cheese, the basil, and the sun-dried tomatoes, and it was spectacular. And that was the first time. Now a lot of people make that. But it was the first time I had eaten it. It was, oh gosh.
You know, there was a place you just reminded me. There was so up by East Gloucester Shaw's, right on the way to Rockport.
Yep.
There was what was like a Friendly's or a Brigham's. I guess it was a Brigham's. but then they closed in this. So I realized it's like a strip mall, right?
Yes,
But
yes.
this random little restaurant opened up there, and they had the most amazing pesto something
Yes.
sandwich.
Oh my God,
It
what was
was
the
so
name
good.
of
I have
that
no
place?
idea. That's what I mean.
So
Someone
it's
needs
in the
to create
Shaw's
this.
Plaza on the right hand side, like I think it
Because
might
then
be
it was
like
a
Salon
Blockbuster video or
128 or
something.
something now. Yeah. Oh, what was the
At
name?
the
of that?
far end.
Wow, you're
opposite
going
Shaw's,
back, Nicole.
right?
That's
I
gonna be
used
like
to go
early
there all the
90s.
time.
Early
I
90s?
loved it. It was like a pesto with sun-dried tomato sandwich.
Yeah, oh my God.
So good.
Might be
That's cool.
controversial, but when I first moved here and would come up to Gloucester for dinner, like I loved the pizza at Valentino's. I thought their pizza was so good. Like I forget which one. I used to get like a
Blackie.
Mediterranean. I think they had like a breaded eggplant on it or something. It was so good.
Valentino's Blackie. Well, you know, a lot of those
I loved it
recipes live on at
Sebastian's?
Sebastian's.
Yeah.
Mm.
So we would, my grandparents lived off of the Rotary, so we would get Valentino's faithfully, and then we'd get Friendly's ice cream faithfully, and we'd go to Union Hill in the morning. But Valentino's was
I love
amazing.
the whole vibe at Valentino's. They had I remember that bar there. And they had the bottles of Galliano, like that, you know, that yellow.
Yeah, like sugar water.
Yeah, it's crazy.
During Fiesta, it was like such a great place
Oh
to
my
be
God.
during Fiesta.
Yeah. All right, so we have a topic right now. I've been doing my investigative.
Wait, hold on. Breaking. My mom who watches says it was Stromboli's, I believe. Stromboli was the name of that
Stromboli.
restaurant. Stromboli.
I remember a restaurant named Stromboli's.
Is that what it
I
was?
don't know. That didn't pop into
It
my head,
didn't
but my
pop
mom's
into my
never
head.
wrong.
Oh, there you go.
That's
That must-
amazing.
if anybody can confirm that.
Thanks,
So-
Mom.
So I've been doing this research. Jamie, your betrothed,
Yep.
turned me on to, and I probably ate 90% of a whole bag of these Wrap City chips. They're available at Market Basket. But I also I'm a big fan of the jalapeno flavored Cape Cod kettle chips.
Mm-hmm.
Market Basket, I'm convinced, and Pat's gonna. So I did a little, and please keep this graphic up because there's a couple things I'd like to point out, Pat. Thank you. So Cape Cod, I'm totally convinced that it may be the Cape Cod repackaged in the Market Basket bag. These jalapeno chips. So I want you to take note of the price. They were on sale. The Cape Cod jalapeno spicy chips, which are some of my favorite potato chips, were on sale 2 for $7. The Market Basket ones were $2.99. However, the Market Basket 14.5 ounces, Cape Cod potato chips 7 ounces, half. The same chips. So did Jamie point this out to me, or did I?
I think she was the first one to buy the chips. I don't know if she pointed out the value.
Yeah, no, I'm a big value.
That's a you're a value guy.
Huge value guy. No,
I
but
don't
these,
see Jamie.
but
going
like
down
if you like kettle style chips, if you like the Cape Cod chips,
Yeah.
go to Market Basket and get the Market Basket brand ones. They're indistinguishable, and it's
They are really, really good.
Go to my Instacart.
We should do a spreadsheet for next week, lifetime value, like the break even, like how much money you'd save over 70 years of buying those chips.
well, there you go. Not just that.
Can we do the restaurant thing first?
$1.29 for a small bag of ice.
I was looking at the show notes here and I saw some new Thirsty Seagull graphics that are going to be announced. So took the liberty of texting Drew and said Joey's going to announce some new merch soon. I hope you're tuned in. So he's ready.
Oh, I didn't know that was going to be in the we're not Pat. The one there's a certain one that I don't want you to put the graphics up for. But
It's a limited edition.
yeah, well, it's the underground one.
Okay.
We're not.
I think I know what you're
We're
talking
not
about.
advertising. Yeah,
Donna, I hope I have your permission to read this, but Donna just texted and said, watching a podcast. So good morning, Donna. Makes me miss you guys. Let's get together. Mike's in California. This girl is on the loose. Watch your
Donna
children.
Rogers is on the loose.
I'm ready, Donna.
Fucking buckle
Let's
up,
go.
Buttercup.
All right, I want the golf cart.
So Chris gave me He wants.
I opened the door and I want you to walk through it.
He wants to fucking talk to me. So here's a new cap style right
Drew.
Drew 01930. The flat brimmed rope cap, which all the kids love. That's a PVC patch right there. Really
Like
cool.
it.
I might take one of those with me.
Like it. This is nice.
And this is a style that I know. Kate was wearing one yesterday, a white one with just a simple Thirsty Seagull on it. No other branding. Brass buckle in the back. Really. There you go, Drew. Just for you, Drew. Just for you, Drew. Just for you. GMG. This is just simple, elegant right there, right? And again, with the brass buckle in the back, not a turret cap, just a canvas kind of cap. And we had the gray one.
And Drew wanted to
Is
know
it
when
great?
you'll be
It was
announcing the
important.
Thirsty Seagull chip brand.
Yeah, Thirsty Brand. There you go. So there's those. Those will be available, and I have some new designs coming. But I did not want to harp on that. She had a podcast and type shared, and we had a couple of other janky prizes for you.
These are not.
No, these are not janky. These other ones. These janky.
That's
This
it.
one, this-
Viewership just went down.
No, these are actually very
They are cool.
soft.
I miss
Black V-necks too.
Black
I
V-necks.
love what Kate does with Angle Volkers. Kate, you're upstairs, but I also miss her hard rock days because they used to live vicariously all the great musicians that were down there and whatnot. So those shirts are from those and good memories.
So what's that?
I like this topic.
People.
Let's go.
I don't know what it's fucking. Honestly, it says right there.
People.
People. That's the topic. Just fucking run with it.
Is
Run
it
with it.
Joey?
Thanks, Pat. We're going to talk about some people.
People.
Short people got no reason.
People.
Short people.
Yeah, just people.
Oh.
So here's the one. Chris, I want you to talk about this interesting, funny EV test driving experience.
Oh, yes. So I've been test driving some electric vehicles because I'm interested in getting one. And I went to Lexus and test drove. They have a Lexus SUV. So went out, this guy comes out with a friend of mine and he's in the back seat, he works there. And we're asking him, what's the range on this car? And it was like 196 miles on a charge. I would never buy an EV with that low of a range. And so he explains that, he's like, but we have a great program here at Lexus. So like if you're going up to Maine or to Ohio, wherever you're going, and if it's a long drive and you don't want to worry about recharging every 200 miles, you bring your car in here and we give you a loaner. And so we're like, you're kidding, right? Like, so we bought an EV because we want an electric vehicle, but then if we go on a long trip, we have to bring it in and we get a combustion engine for the long trip. I thought it was I guess it's a nice that they do that, but it's also really freaking weird.
Yeah.
You know, and EVs, obviously the technology, it's evolving. I mean, we're on our way to like thousand mile batteries eventually, you know, but we're probably a handful of years out from that. But
I thought like most of the Teslas, aren't they like, but minimum like 300?
330 to 340 miles.
So I'm completely. I haven't done like any research on them. So I will completely say my ignorance about them. So Stop and Shop recently is just installing the charging stations.
Yeah.
Right. And talk about fucking polarizing on Good Morning Gloucester Facebook. There's a fucking list of comments this long, and it's literally right. And I've said this a million times. It's right down. It's the psycho conservatives versus the psycho fucking liberals, and they are absolutely just going on and on. And I feel like in this particular case, the liberals may have actually had some experience with the fucking EV cars, and the psycho fucking conservatives are like, just because they fucking hate anything to do with, you know, like green energy, you know, they rail against it because anything that's considered kind of like a liberal thing, they're going to rail against. But I am fascinated with it because I think I've mentioned this a couple times. I've got in a couple of Teslas,
Yeah.
and I fucking loved them.
Yeah, they're great cars.
Really loved them, and the prices have come way down. And I recognize that they're not for people that drive long distances, but I think that they are really great for people that, do a lot of around town driving and install that charger at their house. So the research that I'm curious some of your findings so far, like real world findings. So far.
So, well, I'm still at it. Like, I mean, I know I haven't driven a Lucid yet, and I wouldn't buy a Lucid because it's a sedan. It's more of a luxury sedan. I want an SUV. But that has the longest range, I think, right now of anything. Those are, I think, up to 460 miles, which is...
the Rivian?
The Rivian is around the same as a Tesla. So...
I don't think I'd buy anything
but the thing is, like, there's different types of charging, right? There's trickle charging where you just basically plug into a 110 volt outlet at your house, and you trickle charge. You charge it for 12 hours, it charges up. Then there's a level 2 charger, which is a bit faster. You plug in for 6 or 8 hours, you're charged up. And then there's the fast chargers, or DC, direct current fast chargers. Depending what you look at it, that can be like 50 volts, or it can be like 250. So, if you go to those Tesla charging units, like there's some over at Gloucester Crossing, those can probably charge up from 20% to 100% in 20 to 30 minutes. But then there are those, I think, are 50 volt. But you can find Tesla chargers that are 250 volt, and you can charge your car from basically empty to full in like 11 minutes. So, it's just a matter of finding. There's a lot of different charging types right now, which is why I was out doing this show for the blogs. I actually own a charging company, so that's part of it. Okay. So that's a little bit why I'm sort of in this. But you're right though. Like, the thing about electric vehicles, in my opinion, everything's so political now. Everybody's this side or that side. It's an electric vehicle. It's and they say, oh well, it's not zero. It is zero emissions. Yeah, they're made in factories just like regular cars. Yes, they have batteries. Well, now we're mining. We've been mining lithium forever. Yeah. Maybe we're mining more of it now. It's just like, I think it's such a silly thing to get political about, because at the end of the day, it's cleaner energy. A lot of these EV chargers are using solar power, so you're not counting on coal to create electricity. I don't think there's any up or downside to it compared to a gas-powered engine. I don't believe in politicizing this. I think it's just such a silly thing, and you're right. It's like we all want to choose a side. This isn't something I think that you need to be on a side for.
Yeah, it makes little sense to me. But I feel like if these people got in the fucking car, because the finish on these things are beautiful, and like stylistically they're really, really nice. Yeah. One more point that I would make, and my opinion doesn't matter to someone else that disagrees. That's fine, and that's totally fine. I don't think I'd buy one other than a Tesla, and the only reason is because they're so prevalent all over the place. I feel like they're not going anywhere. No. Whereas like the parts for like a GM or Ford based EV, like I feel like, are they gonna like be able to, whatever their technology is, like are they gonna abandon their program, or how? Like the parts for just like a Weber grill, they make a bazillion of them. So if you need a new grate, it's $20. Like if some hybrid grill that they made 500 units of, you need a new grill that isn't necessarily universal, it's like $175, which renders the grill useless. Yeah. So I don't know.
So I mean, I think that I'm not an expert by any means. I think like you think of like a Tesla, a Rivian, Lucid. Those are specifically EV companies, right? So, and theoretically, they're not going anywhere. Rivian was, a little questionable for a bit, but they just signed a partnership with Volkswagen to be doing their EVs.
Oh, wow.
But Rivian is also, Amazon is so heavily invested in Rivian because Rivian built all of those electric Amazon delivery trucks. So they're not going anywhere either. But you make a good point. Like if a car company decides, nobody's going to get out of EVs. Like everybody likes to say, well, EVs are not the future. Like the car dealers don't want to sell them. The reason the car dealers don't want to sell them a lot is because EVs don't require service. Like there's not as many moving parts. You don't have to get oil changes. So in car dealers, they make a lot of their money, and they always have, on servicing vehicles. So I can totally understand why their number one priority wouldn't be to make their business go away.
Yeah, so there's that. But it was amazing and disheartening at the same time to see like the people on, especially on a page that I manage and own or started, the Good Morning Gloucester Facebook page, a mile long of people, the echo chamber of people that are definitely not going to change each other's minds, like trying to prove silly points. Mm-hmm. So there's that, which is didn't exactly make me happy as the whales and the dolphins did yesterday. So
let's stick with whales and dolphins.
Joey's gonna start singing "Cool Change," the albatross and the whale.
So here's another story that did not give me the warm and fuzzies. Nicole's dad going in because he had a little issue with his cell phone that he couldn't figure out, and what happened next?
Am I allowed to say where?
Yeah, it's a big national company.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So my dad does not watch this, unlike my mom, but he probably would if he could figure out the technology to do so, which brings up this point. But
Bobby Valentine.
Bobby
Valentine.
Yeah, you think he looks like
Her
Bobby
dad
Valentine?
looks like Bobby Valentine, the old manager of the Red Sox.
That's funny.
Oh,
So he has. My dad was doing much better now, but was like in and out of hospitals for quite a while, and at least once, maybe twice, lost his cell phone. Either it was like on the dinner tray and they took it away, or somebody took it. Who knows. And so we, my brother, my sister, and I got him, just like a cheaper phone, because he loves to scroll through Facebook. He accidentally posts things sometimes. Ignore it. And then he just needs to contact people, and this is, it's his lifeline, so to speak. So, and then my brother got him just a straight talk plan, and takes care of that for him. So
what's a straight talk plan mean?
I don't really know. It's just like you pay like monthly kind of thing. Like he doesn't need all the like
bells and whistles.
Yeah. So
no gay talk.
Yeah. Wait, what?
No gay talk. You don't want to be.
Oh yeah. I was like, what? Anyway.
It's a don't ask, don't tell.
Right.
Cell phone plan.
So a couple weeks ago, his phone wasn't working, and understandably, his go-to when your phone doesn't work is to go to the phone store, right? But he's not on T-Mobile like I am. He's not on Verizon. He's on the straight talk plan. So we're trying to remind him, don't go to the phone store. Like this doesn't have anything to do with your phone. So all he needed the other, like 2 weeks ago, was a charger. And I was like, yeah, it's, free. So I'm going to go to, Walgreens, get you a charger or whatever. So we took care of that problem. But he'd gone to the phone store first. I'm like, Dad, stop going to the phone store. So his phone wasn't working for some reason the other day. So he went to the T-Mobile store. And they very politely said, you don't have T-Mobile service. Maybe straight talk is often associated with Verizon, maybe. So go across the parking lot. So that's what he did to have his phone looked at. Important to say that at the end of the day, the only problem was that his straight talk plan had expired, and my poor brother has been working a lot and I think just didn't update it. So a 30-second phone call fixed my father's phone, which anybody who works in a phone store should have known. That was the problem. His phone was not actually broken and didn't need anything. So my dad, trusting and whatever, went into the Verizon store, where they immediately took it upon themselves to go into his phone, do all that they had to do. They got the code, we're going to email you a code, text you a code. You sure you want to cancel this, blah, blah, blah. Gentleman did all of that. I could go back later after the fact and look at my dad's phone and see that he had accepted all of that stuff. Obviously not my dad. He wouldn't know how to do that. And so they rendered his old phone kind of useless, and they sold him a $750 phone, took whatever cash he had in his wallet at the time, which was this random $158.47 number
roughly
that he paid in cash, and then set him up on Verizon for a year-long contract or 3-year contract, whatever it was, and he still owed another $580 or whatever. So I went to his house to bring him some dinner, and I was like, Dad, I've been calling and texting you, what's going on? And I saw his phone on the counter, and I looked at it, and he's like, oh, I have 2 phones now, and super confused about why he had 2 phones. And he was saying the other one won't work for 24 hours, don't touch that one. I was like, what are you talking about? So long story short, I figured out this is what happened, and I was furious. Because in the meantime, we talked to my brother, my sister, brother, and I were texting, and we realized it was just a straight talk thing, one phone call, phone's working. And so I raced up to the T-Mobile store accidentally, where they were so nice, because I came in hot, and they were like, no, not. Yeah. So then I went across to Verizon, and they were closed. So I went to work the next day, and we work a lot. It's not easy. My sister works, in Boston, and it's definitely not easy for her. So I couldn't leave campus until like 10, and then I had a little window to sneak out. So I went to the Verizon store, and again, super hot. And I walked in, and thank God there was a female working in there. Not thank God, but it wasn't this guy who had done it, because she was not a John, obviously. And I walked in, and I said right away, I said, I'm going to try not to yell, and I'm going to try not to cry. And she said, okay, what happened? And I said, and I was like shaking with the piece of paper. And she was so unbelievably nice.
Okay, so that's
And I wish I had her. I wish I had her name. It's in my car. It'll come to me. Mariah, maybe Mariah. She was unbelievably nice, and took care of everything.
Oh, okay.
And it took about 45 minutes, but they took his phone back, the new phone that he didn't need, canceled it, got rid of the plan, called
I didn't
headquarters,
realize
canceled
I didn't
it.
know where it went.
Yeah, so she was unbelievable, and I could tell how disappointed she was. My dad had to come up there with his license, because they had to scan his license to get rid of the plan, and she was so apologetic to him, and they talked, and my dad has the best sense of humor. He was really funny about it, and then she said, I don't ever want to see you in here again, on the way out the door, because he doesn't need to be in a store like that.
Right.
And I said to him, you stay out of phone stores and car dealerships for the next, you don't need a new phone. But I thought I was just I was so mad. You're on the group text. I was so mad that somebody would do that. All he needed was a phone call made to his phone plan.
One of the things that a lot of people don't know, that it's a super valuable lesson, is when it comes to your phone, whether you're on Verizon, AT&T, and you need to have it serviced, or you think you do, you go on the website, and what you want to find is an AT&T or a Verizon store, not because they list all of the authorized. So you can say, I'm going to open a Verizon store, an AT&T store. They're always going to want to sell you something more than if you go to a store that's actually owned by that company.
Yeah.
So always look for the store-owned companies, not the authorized dealers.
Yeah. And at T-Mobile, they gave me that same information. They couldn't have been nicer, even though they didn't create this mess. And they said, just always look for a real franchise if you're in, a real
company store,
not a franchise.
Yeah.
There's that. Shout out to Bobby from the Crow's Nest, and Janelle, who went Sternman with Joe Mondello. They pulled up to the dock to put bait on. There they are, Bobby and Janelle, and they went out lobstering. And I want to keep this picture up for 1 second. I'd like everyone to take note of Janelle's footwear.
I was just noticing the footwear.
Janelle is wearing, if you can't see, flip-flops, dancing in and amongst the gurry that they use to bait up the traps, which is pretty spectacular. I don't think I've ever seen a lobster person go fishing in flip-flops, so that's a new one for me.
Are those OSHA approved?
I do not know. But let me tell you, that was pretty wild.
Brave and yet dangerous.
Yeah. So there's that. I think that's going to be it for us, because we're at the 9:59 minute. We'll save a couple of other
Best thing you ate.
Best thing you ate. Yeah. Because someone just asked that. What was Chris's favorite meal when he was away?
Oh, well,
Steve Conti asked.
I had a great New Orleans dinner at a restaurant there. That was awesome. But aside from that, we were filming in a resort and casino, so basically we were eating that type of food. So it was like buffet, but it was good. The food was good. I'd say my best meal, Thai this week. A lot of birthdays this week. On Thursday it was Jamie's birthday, so we went to the Beauport. They had on the salad menu. They had something that's called the Crab Louis, and it was like crab meat with a lot of really delicious. I hadn't had that before. And then Friday was Sarah's birthday. So TJ put together a big group to go out for Sarah's birthday. Went to Tono. I had the special. It was bluefin tuna special with over heirloom tomatoes. I always get tuna when I go to Tono. This was This was probably the best I've ever had there. It was fantastic.
I was thinking about this on my ride over, and I had to go through my whole week. Monday was phone disaster. Tuesday was something else. Wednesday I worked. Thursday I met up with these guys after dinner. So when I worked again on Friday, I don't think I've eaten out this week. So I have nothing I have to pass this week.
You had a sub yesterday.
I did have a sub from Virgilio's yesterday, a veggie with hot pepper sub.
How was that? Was that good?
It was perfect, yeah.
Pat, can you roll my meat?
Can I do what? What do you need?
The meat?
Can you roll his
Oh,
meat?
gotcha.
This is the best thing I ate this week.
I'm hoping this is the right one.
Friday, Nick Novello put on a clinic. He brought over about 7 pounds of he had pork belly, he had pork ribs, flank steak, rib eyes. He cooked them all perfectly. I asked him, how did you season them? Just salt. He's doing the carnivore diet. And Nick himself, I don't know if he's lost like 30 or 40 pounds. He looks fantastic. He's been doing exclusively the carnivore diet.
Wow.
So the inverse of Jamie, of whatever Jamie's doing, Nick is doing.
No tuna though. He's caught a few nice sized tuna lately. No tuna on that.
No tuna.
Breakaway.
Salty. So anyone else want to chime in with what their best thing they ate? Annie Roshan says salty bagels this morning.
Oh yeah, that's a place out of we talked about them out of the Pier
23 Main Street.
Sweet meat is what I always call it the wrong
Meat and
thing.
sweet.
Meat and sweet.
Oh,
We
23
talked about
Main
that last
Street.
week, remember?
they have bagels there.
We talked about that on the podcast
We did.
at the deck. I think we
Oh,
talked
that's
about their
right.
bagels.
Damn, I totally forgot
I know,
about that.
I'm starving right now.
I guess my mother
I might
makes
have a
scones.
scone. I know.
You know, you don't want to eat it in front of everybody and have
No.
the fucking shit all over your face. Barbara Merch says Big Belly's fried clams at Chokebridge Pub in Ipswich. And I think that's it. So I have mine, you got yours, and he got his. Okay. Pat, how many shares do we have?
We have 9. There are 9.
shares? Okay. So it's going to be Mom t-shirt, Punta Cana t-shirt, or 2 koozie packs. They work great for pint glasses or tapered, tumblers. So
you get the 2 koozies together.
2 koozies together, 3 prizes. All right, here we go.
10. 10, late
shares.
ad.
Oh,
That's right.
10 shares.
Was that Drew Hale who just shared?
blowing up. Oh, Drew.
Drew.
I'm sure the t-shirt's going to look great on him.
Oh wow, this is wild. They do it differently now. Oh wow, our new
Is
Our
it too
number
late?
ran
11.
what's that?
11.
No, we're at 11 now.
11. Oh, okay.
Where's Donna right
Donna
now?
McCarthy, Donna Rogers wants to share now because she wants the koozies.
Okay. So it's not 12. No.
It's 11.
11.
Right, maximum
Oh, okay.
number, minimum number. So yeah, the interface for our random generator thing has changed. Okay, here we go. Oh, it did-
Number 8 is Pamela Jean Parsons.
Oh, Pam
Yeah,
Parsons. So we can. So I have a feeling that she already has these as a,
Yeah,
as
she
a Rumline
You never
denizen.
have enough.
Okay. Number
7.
7, Robert and Annette Spanks.
Oh, the Swingers from the highest STD capital in the United States.
Number
5.
5, Steve Conti.
Yeah.
Always Steve Conti.
Conti, there you go.
Sorry, Donna Rogers.
Koozies for Robert and Annette
Donna,
Spanks.
a little late on the sharing there, Donna.
So
all
the
right.
shirts are going to Pam and Steve.
The shirt. Which shirt?
Shirts.
The 2
You
shirts.
picked,
No,
you
the
picked
shirts
3.
The shirts. It was one. There was 3 prizes.
One, yeah. So
A
1
set of koozies.
to the Spanks,
Yeah.
and then Pam and Steve will each get a shirt.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So which you gotta say which shirt what you want. Pam says koozies, but she was
too
late,
late.
right?
But Pam was picked first.
No, it doesn't matter. It's who replies. Who,
Oh, I
Yeah.
love that too.
Yeah.
No. Whoever. Hey, Peter Carbone. So
Which shirt does she want?
Pam or Peter, Steve Conti tea, but there's 2 different teas. There's the Punta Cana tea
I think
and there's the mom tea.
this one's good for Steve.
Mom
Yeah,
tea
he's-
and these
he's
will
gonna have to
be
go.
So that's what. So we can bring both of those to the deck, and they can pick them up.
That's
there.
true.
Yeah. So we'll bring the shirts to the deck,
And Pam says also.
but they haven't picked which shirt. There's a Punta Cana shirt and a mom shirt.
They will be at the marina.
You can fight.
And
Let's have
arm wrestling.
arm wrestle
You guys
for
can fight it
the pin.
like what are they? Mako and Hazel. You can have a
Yeah.
death
No,
match.
Stephen
Steve
wants
Conti
the,
says Punta Cana. Okay, there we go. It's settled.
It's settled.
Settled. All right, we got to get on the boat. It's the sandbar is not going to be up all day, as Drew Hale just informed me. And thank you guys for joining me. It's been great, and we'll see you later. Let's see. Oh, I got to get some out music. Oh wait, I got to show this. I have to show this. Please don't ask me about lobster. This is, I made a couple of these patches. And I don't know if anybody's still with us right now, but I made a couple of these patches, and the whole premise behind. How do you like that design?
I love it.
What do you think about the design?
I like it. Yeah.
It's great, right? So I made these patches because inevitably, when I go out in social like parties or events downtown or whatever, I inevitably get like fucking inundated with questions about the lobster industry, and I'm so like burnt out. I like really don't want to be there at all. And how do you really feel? Is that what you said? Right. So I'm like, when I'm finally away from the wharf. Like if I'm at the wharf, ask me all the lobster questions you want. But when I'm away from the dock,
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
right? No, absolutely right. But when I'm away from the dock, like please, don't fucking don't if you want to make a chit chat, like the question that how's your kids doing? Ask me about my children. Ask me about how Kate's real estate career is going. Ask me about the shop on Main Street. Any new designs I have coming out. Please don't ask me about lobsters. It's the last thing I want to think about. So I made that design, which I think is pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And I'm waiting for the patch to come in so I can put it on some merch, and then it's go time.
So there's an old saying: find something that you love, and you'll never work a day in your life. I would say this does not apply to you.
This does not fucking apply. Actually, I love, like, it's a hobby. Like, the merchandise is a hobby for me, and it helps to pay for the costs for the blog and stuff. But I love, and that is the thing that like it never feels like work. Fucking going to the wharf at 4 o'clock or 4:30 in the morning.
It's work.
Feels like fucking work every fucking day. And you know what? It's not the people, because 80% of the guys are the nicest, greatest fucking guys in the world. I love Mark Ring, Mike Tupper. I love those guys. It's great salt of the earth guys. It's just I'm just tired of fucking being down there. So anyway.
I don't know if we have any viewers left anyway, but
Anything but lobster, please. Where's that graphic again? Because I just fucking love it. One more time. Right there. I'm going to leave it right there. Please, don't ask me about lobster. Please. I'm begging you.
unless they're the lobsters on the shirt.
Annie Brobes, our friend Annie Brobes, who's been watching a lot lately, she's been commenting on stuff. We're going to go out with her.
She was on the boat port.